Well, welcome along, everybody, for the final time this weekend, the final time this season to the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. It's the finals. We're at Autodromo di Vallelunga for the NASCAR Grand Prix of Italy, not far away from Rome, the capital city. And it is our final race of the year. And it's the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series EuroNASCAR Pro Division that is coming up, with a champion to be crowned over the course of the next race that we are about to see. We saw a win in EuroNASCAR 2 for Martin Dubeck earlier on today. That was sufficient for him to secure the EuroNASCAR 2 championship, so congratulations to him. Congratulations to Gordon Barnes, who on Thursday secured the club challenge of the EuroNASCAR, but the only champion we've got left to crown in terms of the individual drivers' championships is the EuroNASCAR Pro champion, and of course the subcategories of that, the likes of the junior drivers and the challenger drivers as well. And we'll see as to what happens over the course of this race. But it's great to be back here at Vallelunga circuit, which first started hosting motorsports in 1951 and has been changed quite substantively over the years. So it's going to be fantastic to see what occurs over the course of this race that's coming up. Great to see the fans here as well. It's been free ticketing for the fans, and some of them tucking into some Halloween treats by the look of things. As for the circuit here, well, we're racing on the full configuration of the Vallelunga circuit, which, with all of the various extensions that have been done over the year, there are several different configurations that you can run, but we are on the full 2.5 mile or 4 kilometre circuit, which starts with a really quick sequence of bends. So over the start-finish line, through the daunting flick of the right and left of Curva Grande, and from there they head down to the right-hand side of your screen there through Chimney 1 and Chimney 2, and then the speed build as they head up towards the hairpin at Champagnero. The final section of it, as I've mentioned throughout the course of this weekend, slower, more technical, and certainly very, very difficult. Easy to make a mistake or snatch a break through those slower sections. So 14 key corners to deal with, the final corner being slightly banked as well, Roma, where if you hook the car into the apex, you can get a good launch coming off it and over the start-finish line, which is what all of the drivers will be. The outgoing champion, Alon, mathematically himself, Giovanni, could still claim the championship, but what they'd need to do is every driver ahead of them either not to finish the first lap or not even to start the race. But other than that, any other scenario wouldn't work for Alan Day. So mathematically, still possible. Realistically, championship has gone for him, I'm afraid to say. So we can see lots of enthusiasm on the grid. Gianmarco Ercoli there, who is going to be starting towards the sharp end of the order, just having a quick final handshake with some of his teammates. So we'll see as to what he might be able to do, because mathematically he could lift the championship title. The way it works out is that any one of 3 drivers likely to be the champion. Mathematically there are more than that, but it's favouring Loris Haseman's Vittorio Gorelli or Gianmarco Ercoli, but you never know. We saw that earlier on today, so many twists and turns in terms of the championship. So this is the final race. Let's have a quick look at the point standings then as we head into this race now. This accounts for what happened yesterday. The point standings, we'll see Loris Haseman's leading the championship by just 5 points from Vittorio Gorelli, with Gianmarco Ercoli third, leading the junior category at this stage. Luca Lasser and Nicola Rocca aren't that far away either, so mathematically they can still do it as well. The leading driver in the junior trophy is Gianmarco Ercoli. That's for drivers under 25 at the beginning of the season. The leading driver for the challenger trophy, only 4 points between Henry Tuamala and Davide Dallara in 11th and 12th place. And the challenger trophy is for amateur drivers that enter EuroNASCAR Pro. So it's so tight. If Haseman's wins, Gorelli wins, or Ercoli wins, doesn't matter what anybody else does, they would be the champion. So any one of those top 3 in the championship winning this race is sufficient, because it's 80 points for a win, it's 70 points if you're second. So even if Ercoli wins, doesn't matter if Haseman's second, Ercoli would claim the championship. It's going to be so tight in this one. Really looking forward to calling this last race of the season here at Autodromo Vallelunga. Halloween weekend, and many of the teams and the drivers and the fans have got involved in the Halloween celebrations. Great way to end the championship season. So the cars working their way onto the grid. The indication was given that because of weather, there's a possibility of it being changeable, then there was a bulletin issued as to what happens should there be rain during the race, which would mean that potentially we'd have a safety car for all of the cars to change tyres. That's our pole sitter, Jacques Villeneuve, went to victory lane for the first time in his NASCAR career yesterday in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series at least. And that would be, we were trying to work it out, his first international race win for at least 20 years in reality. So great to see Jack back there. Those wonderfully piercing blue eyes that he has, and that familiar colour of the crash helmet. There's Sebastian Bleekemolen. That's the Team Bleekemolen car. He is down there on the grid. Another driver mathematically that could win the championship. But let's go down there onto the grid where Andre has managed to catch up with somebody. No, he's nearly there. You can see that he's about there. I think he's going to try and grab a word with Jacques Villeneuve. Understandably, there's a big old crowd around Jack as he gets out of the car. Crash helmet already on, receiving a round of applause already from some of the fans. They'll have enjoyed that race win for Jacques Villeneuve yesterday. Could he back it up with another win today? The familiar sort of baggy overalls that he's always worn. They're always, even in Formula One, it always just looks as though they're a size too big for him, Jacques, but it's clearly just how he feels comfortable with that race suit on, with the fire suit on, and he is not mathematically in with a shout at the championship. He's too far away because he hasn't done every round because of his other commitments, but we do hope that we'll see Jacques Villeneuve back in the 2022 season. Let's go down there again onto the grid now.
I'm here with pole sitter and yesterday's race winner Jacques Villeneuve. Perfect foundation for another race win today?
Well, the car was great yesterday. Starting from pole might make it a little bit easier, I hope. But yeah, the car was still running great at the end of the race when the tires were used. So hopefully it will be good. The first few laps will be tough, cold and old tires, that's all.
All right. It's Halloween, so I have to ask you, did you have any favorite Halloween costume when you were a child?
Maybe an Evel Knievel when I was a kid.
All right, thank you so much and have fun.
Thank you.
There he goes. There's Andre still wearing the Halloween mask. I've got to say it's a vast improvement over what we usually have to look at when we see Andre on camera. So yeah, there is Sebastian Bleekemolen. Say mathematically could win the championship still, but again, he really needs to rely on everybody ahead of him in the championship. The likes of Rocker, Lasser, Urkeli, Garelli, Hazeman's all non-finishing and all having a very poor finish, maybe only completing a lap or two, or in the case of some of them, none. So mathematically still possible for Sebastian Bleekemolen, but the stars just aren't going to align that way. I just don't see how that could ever happen. You never know, but wow, that would be a massive twist of fate for that to happen. So a busy old crowd, all there lining up on the grid. The VIPs taking the opportunity to do the grid walks. We had a pit lane walkabout as well in between the EuroNASCAR 2 race earlier on today and prior to this race taking place. So nice that we, as I've mentioned several times through this year, we are slowly getting back to some sort of normality, and we will be certainly hoping that we can continue with that increase in what we usually do, getting back to things regularly. It looks as though we've got another interview. Andre's down there with Gianmarco Urkeli.
I'm here with Gianmarco Urkeli. Today it's easy. You win, you're the champion. What's your strategy?
The job is simple. If you win, I am the champion. It's very hard because I, Loris and Vittorio are very near with the points in the championship. Now as in the race, it's possible to arrive first and it's possible to arrive third or fourth. So now is the race, and the car isn't important, so now it's important only the driver.
All right, thank you so much and have fun and happy Halloween.
Thank you, happy Halloween.
There we go. Good to hear from Jimmy Jett. His English continually improving. It's far better than my Italian will ever be, I've got to say that. So yeah, good to hear from Gianmarco Urkeli. There's Giorgio Maggi, who is also potentially in with a shout at the championship. But I say the maths for him are the same as Alan Day. They're tied on points. They need everybody ahead of them to almost not start this race for some strange reason, or not even complete one lap. So again, mathematically possible, but Giorgio Maggi, I'm sure, will have resigned to the fact that the maths are just not in favour of him securing the championship. Let's go back down onto the grid. Andre's a busy chap. He's found somebody else to chat to. It's Vittorio Garelli.
I'm here with another championship contender, Vittorio Garelli. The math is easy. You win the race, you are the champion. So how are you going to approach in that race?
Yeah, for sure, I'll go for the win. There's no other result. I mean, it's been a tough season, but we're still there. So just we have to focus, no mistakes, and just get the result, you know. Thanks to the fans, a lot of friends came here to support. So yeah, will be a good show, have fun.
I have one personal question. As a kid, what was your favorite Halloween costume?
Well, yeah, maybe the superheroes like Superman or Batman, that stuff there.
All right, thank you so much and have fun.
Let's try to be a hero too today. Good luck.
There we go. Great to hear from Vittorio Grelli. Seemed a little bit nervous there for me. I know Vittorio, and just the way he was talking there, you can feel the nerves. And why would you not? We have never in the history of the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series had a champion from EuroNASCAR who graduate and the next year win the main championship, the EuroNASCAR Pro Championship. That has never happened. That has never happened. In fact, we have never had a graduate from who become the EuroNASCAR Pro Champion. So to do it in back-to-back seasons would be amazing. Andre has managed to find somebody else to have a chat to down there on the grid. Who have we got next, Andre?
I'm here with Loris Hesemans. You're the championship leader, but it's easy. Gianmarco wins, he's the champion. Vittorio wins, he's the champion. You're winning, you're the champion. So, front row start next to Jacques Villeneuve. What's your strategy?
Like I always say, it's adapting to the situation at hand. Obviously, we're going to try to manage to keep at least P2. Also, that plays a big factor, obviously, because the winning is a big difference. So we just try to keep focused. We just try to do our best and see what comes out of there.
I asked even Jacques Villeneuve, no you, what's your favorite Halloween costume?
My favorite?
Yes.
It's actually bad, but I have never done Halloween.
Nothing.
I still need to do it.
And if you would need to choose one for that race, what would it be? Come on.
This one right here.
Okay, perfect. Have a nice race.
There we go. Good to hear from Loris Hesemans, a driver, as we say, he's mentioned doing a partial cup campaign next year. The new Hazeberg team entering the new generation car into the main cup series, and Loris Hesemans will be representing the Netherlands, representing the European NASCAR series as he goes and does all of the road courses in the cup series next year. Hopefully taking one or two of the ovals, subject to approval by NASCAR and everything else, but he's certainly looking to do road courses in 2022 in the new Hazeberg team in the next gen car that's of course recently been tested, and is looking to do the fingers crossed the full cup campaign in 2023. So exciting times lie ahead for Loris Hesemans. Is he going to go to the cup series as a reigning EuroNASCAR Pro Champion? Might he lose out? Because as we say, the maths are easy. Hesemans wins the race, he's the champion. Garelli wins the race, he's the champion. Gianmarco Ercoli wins the race, he's the champion. The maths are quite simple for this one. Should they trip over each other, Luca Lasser and Nicola Rocca could also walk away with the championship. We really have no idea what might be going on over the course of this 18-lap race that we will be seeing very, very shortly indeed. So, you can see the grid filling up all of the time. The grid walk not just open to VIPs, it's open to any of the public that are here over the course of this weekend. Free ticketing also for the Italians. We're still restricted on the amount of spectators we can have in the venue under the current Italian regulations due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. As I say, we've seen generally whichever country we've been to throughout the course of the 2021 championship season, we've seen a slow easing of the restrictions as the local and national vaccination programs get into place and our understanding of the virus gets better and better and better. So we hope that come 2022 we'll be back to normal, really being able to engage with fans and families and all of that off-circuit activity that goes on, because it's not just about the pure racing on track, it's about all of the off-track entertainment as well. It's a real festival weekend. And whilst we're talking about 2022, let's just bring up what the 2022 championship calendar looks like, because we recently announced what was happening in the 2022 championship season. We will start our season on the 9th and 10th of April, where we'll go to Hockenheim in Germany. Then it will be to our regular home at Circuit Ricardo Tormo, just outside of Valencia, for the Spanish Grand Prix for rounds 3 and 4. We're back to Brands Hatch, the home of the UK NASCAR Grand Prix, on the 5th and 6th of June, and then we've got that special summer event in Italy. Details of that to be announced shortly as to exactly what the summer Italy All-Star event will be. Then we're back to the regular season once more with a visit to Most in the Czech Republic, on to Zolder in Belgium, and the finals next year taking place at Autodromo Grobnik for the first time. It'll be our third visit to that track. It'll be the first time that they'll have held the finals, and something special in the winter to look forward to. I'm excited about the Winter Classic and whatever it might be. NASCAR's on ice on studded tyres. Wow. Now, is that a recipe for something really special? I hope so, because it's going to be really interesting to see how they tame 5.7 litres and 400 brake horsepower in rear-wheel drive cars on ice. Looking forward to that. You can find all of the details on those when they're released by following us on social media at EuroNASCAR for both Twitter and for Instagram. NASCAR Whelen Euro Series on Facebook. Follow our YouTube channel, or you can go to EuroNASCAR.com. So the grid is being cleared now. There is the Solaris Motorsport number 12 car of Francisco Cini. Francisco, who's been a regular in this series for a couple of seasons now, will be hoping that he can finish the season on a high. Had a difficult day yesterday where he finished in 16th position and was some 8 laps off the lead in the end, as it was, with problems. So for the 41-year-old at his home NASCAR Grand Prix, what might he be able to do? There's Giorgio Maggi at the wheel of his Hendricks Ford. Re-liveried midway through the season, Giorgio. Just make sure hair's right, beard's right. There we go. We'll get the photograph done now. Giorgio Maggi. So I suppose pressure's off really for the likes of Jack Villeneuve, Giorgio Maggi, Alan Day, Sebastian Bleekie-Bowl. You know, they know they can't win this championship. They can just go out there, drive the wheels off the thing, have some fun, and see what might happen. Whereas for Loris Hasemans, Vittorio Girelli and Gianmarco Ercoli, they know they've got to win. They know they have to win this race. If they win it, they're the champions. If they are running in second or third and one of their fellow competitors is leading, they know they've got to catch them. They know they've got to overtake. So I think we are on for a wonderful, wonderful scrap here. And of course, all of those main championship contenders are all at the sharp end of the grid. So Jacques Villeneuve, you could argue, is the interloper. He's yesterday's race winner, set the fastest lap, so he starts from pole. But Hasemans is on the outside of the front row of the grid, and the other two in the championship fight are both on the second row of the grid, Vittorio Girelli and Gianmarco Ercoli. So we are going to see some wonderful, wonderful scraps here. So we've got about 8 minutes to go until the countdown. Alan Day looking nice and relaxed. He is the outgoing champion. Won the championship for the third time with PK Carsport, Anthony Kumpen's team last year. Moved back to Cal Racing as PK Carsport were not scheduled to be competing in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series this year, so went back to familiar territory Cal, where he secured his first 2 championships. And it's been a tough year for him. There's Luca Lasser. So he is a double former champion, 2009, 2010, Luca Lasser. But should he be able to do something and win the race? He starts from 6th position, the Frenchman, at the wheel of the Speedhouse racing machine, the 42-year-old Frenchman. Should he win the race, he would be on 413 points. He'd then need to hope that Loris Hasemans finishes 5th or lower, that Girelli finishes 3rd or lower, and Ercoli finished 2nd or lower. So if Luca won that and those were the other stars of the line, he would be the champion. So, and for Nicola Rocca, say he were to win, and then if Hasemans finished 10th or lower, Girelli finished 7th or lower, Gianmarco Ercoli finished 5th or lower, and Luca Lasser finished 2nd even, but Nicola Rocca won it, he would be the champion. Yet he's 5th in the championship standings at the moment, so we really don't know. There's our newly crowned ladies champion. Big smile for Mariana Casali there in the centre of the shot. She's lined up with her Cal Racing teammate Gianmarco Ercoli. The EuroNASCAR 2 drivers. Pressure is off for those now. Their season is done and dusted. It was done earlier on today, but they're still there, understandably supporting the drivers that they share the cars with. And with the drivers suiting up and kitting up, will guide you through the grid as and when they're on their formation lap. They're probably not that far away either from hearing the national anthems. And of course, we will have our Grand Marshal that will be uttering the words. It's time to remain silent for the national anthems. didn't quite hear the audio for that, but we did pick up on the national anthem of our host nation for Italy. So the race is beginning to build up. We had a great race yesterday from EuroNASCAR Pro, so maybe now might be the right time to look back at some of the highlights of yesterday's race. There we go, some great highlights from yesterday. Jacques Villeneuve heading towards victory lane for the first time in his NASCAR Whelen Euro Series EuroNASCAR Pro career. Vittorio Garelli and Gianmarco Ercoli completing the podium, but the drive-through penalty for Loris Hazeemans as a result of some contact with Alan Day meant that he finished in 10th place in the end, and that, of course, is what's tightened up the championship and made it so much of a knife edge for today. There was a question mark as to whether there was a mechanical issue with Alan Day's car, but a drive-through penalty is taken in the race. There's nothing you can undo about that once it is done. So whilst that was potentially disappointing for Hazeemans as a spectator and as a neutral, wow, it means we are in for one unbelievable championship squabble. And remember, the three drivers that are likely to walk away with the championship are in the top 4 positions on the grid. The only interloper is the pole sitter, Jacques Villeneuve, who mathematically can't win the championship, but he's going to want to make it a back-to-back win. Absolutely, he will want to try and secure a victory here. The only driver that is in with a chance of the championships that have scored victories here before, Luca Lasser, mathematically could win the championship. He took a win back in the Franciacorta Grand Prix of Italy in 2018. And last year, here at Vallelunga, Gianmarco Ercoli took a win in one of the races. It was Loris Hazeemans in the other. So both of those drivers potentially battling it out for the championship have already been to victory lane at this particular track. So Luca Lasser has done it, but that was back at Franciacorta. And we know Alan Day has done it. He mathematically is pretty much out of reach in terms of the championship. He's not going to get there, but 7 wins in Italy in the past, but none of them have ever come here at Vallelunga. Now, there's a gap on the grid directly ahead of Francesco Sini there, which is Patrick Lamarie's car. Now, that was the car that Simon Palat got involved in an incident with in the EuroNASCAR 2 race. I knew that the team were in the process of trying to rebuild that car, but it does look like the number 66 is not there on the grid. There's a gap where Patrick Lamarie should have been. Now, it may well be the car will start from the pit lane. We will have to wait and see as to whether he starts. So, not long now until we get the command from the Grand Marshal. That's being done from the podium, so I'm not sure our camera will be able to pick up on the picture of the Grand Marshal giving those most famous words in motorsport, but we should hopefully be able to crank the audio up and hear the audio from it. There's the number 90 car, Vittorio Garelli, getting a bit of encouragement. I think that's Max Lancer that was giving him the encouragement. He's only ever had one Italian win his home NASCAR Grand Prix, and that was Eddie Cheever some years ago. That was back at Magione, and we're there for the semi-finals in 2014. Could we see an Italian win this race? Could we see an Italian grab the championship in his home Grand Prix? Garelli or Ercoli, either of those will tick that box. Words from the Grand Marshal. Not far away now. Teams are ready. Solo member with the Slave Factory. And now it's time for the Grand Marshal, for the most famous words in motorsport.
Drivers, all start your engines!
So there we go, Alessandro Bon from Whelen, the Grand Marshal, gives the instruction, the most famous words in motorsport, for the drivers to start their engine. So for the final time this season, the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series EuroNASCAR Pro Division are on the circuit. 18 laps to work out who is going to lift the championship title this year. Is it going to be Loris Hasemans? Could it be Vittorio Garelli or Gianmarco Ercoli? Or might we see huge twists in fortune and Luca Lasser or maybe even Nicola Rocca walk away as the champion? We'll have to wait and see. That gap on the grid where we should have had the car of Patrick Lamery, but the safety car is ready to guide them around the circuit. And any second now, they'll be waved off onto their final formation lap under cloudy skies here just outside of the capital. Jacques Villeneuve and Loris Hasemans on the front row of the grid, with Vittorio Garelli and Gianmarco Ercoli, an all-Italian, second row. Row 3 of the grid sees Alain Day line up alongside double former champion Luca Lasser. And row 4 is a gap on the inside where Patrick Lamery should be. Hopefully we'll start Giorgio Maggi on his own because of the gap alongside. Row 5, Francesco Cini and Sebastian Bleeky-Molen. And then on row number 6, that's where we see Nicola Rocca and Romain Iniesta. The 7th row of the grid on the inside, it's Leonardo Colavita, and for company, he's got the Finnish driver, Henri Tuomala, who's leading the Challenger standings. An all-Italian 8th row of the grid, as Bernardo Manfredi has Davide Amaduzzi alongside. Davide Dallara and Luca Nurmi line up there on row number 9. Row number 10, Dario Carzo and Yevgen Sokolovsky. And the final row of the grid will be Federico Monti. Oh, and I think slotting into that back row of the grid, we might see Fabrizio Amata. Didn't quite see whether his car was there on the grid, but an amended grid that was issued did suggest that we might see Fabrizio putting the number 55 Chevy onto the tail end of the field. And he is there. Yeah, just going past the shot now. The white car with the red and the gold flashes to it. So 55 Fabrizio Amata is there on the grid. So maths are simple. If any one of number 7, Loris Hasemans, number 90, Vittorio Garelli, or number 54 win this race, doesn't matter what anybody else does, whoever wins that race would be the champion. If someone else were to win it, say Jacques Villeneuve were to win it, well, because it's the finals, it's 10 extra points for the win compared to second. So if Villeneuve keeps leading, then it makes it harder for the likes of Vittorio Garelli and Gianmarco Ercoli to become the champion, because Hasemans just needs to be there or thereabouts. So if Jacques Villeneuve wins it, he'd be on 3-3-1 points. Let's say Hasemans finished second, that would still be enough for him to secure the championship. But if he starts to drop down to 4th or 5th, whilst Garelli and Ercoli are running second or third in the championship, then things become even tighter. We really don't know what way this is going to go. We didn't know when we couldn't tell for the EuroNASCAR 2 race earlier on. It's so fantastic that year after year after year in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, we get through the main season, we get to the playoffs, and then certainly to the finals weekend, depending on how long the season is. And when we get to the last race of the season, we still have at least 2 drivers, if not more, mathematically in with a shout of the championship. And it always comes down to the final race. It really does. And what it needs to do at that finals weekend for any driver is stay clean, stay out of trouble. If you have a solid finals weekend, you're in a reasonable place. If you have any mistake on a finals weekend where the points are doubled, you really undo all of the hard work that you'll have done throughout the course of the season. So the cars are just heading up towards the hairpin at Semaforo, and then from there they'll flick left through Torrentino, and then it's just the S's, and it's after the S's where the safety car will peel off, and then the cars will be in their 2x2 order without the safety car ahead of them as they head through the final corner Roma, because the pit lane entry is before that final corner. So Jacques Villeneuve on pole position. Here's is the black car with the yellow flashes, but the black, the yellow and the blue bonneted car is Hazeman's. It's white and orange with a black bonnet for Vittorio Garelli, and it's yellow and black for Gianmarco Werkli on the outside of that second row of the grid. So safety car will turn left as we look at it, turn to driver's right, the pit lane entry, there we go. And now cars are in neat 2x2 order, ready for the final race of the season. 18 laps between now and deciding who is our champion for the 2021 season. So buckle up everybody, for the final time in 2021 we are about to go green in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series EuroNASCAR Pro Division final for this season. Lights go out and it's not a bad start from Loris Hazeman's, but Jacques Villeneuve is matching him as they head up towards turn number 1. Jacques did not lift for this corner yesterday. I don't think he'll lift today, but neither of them do. Hazeman's gets his nose ahead and picked up the lead of the race from Jacques Villeneuve, who is now squeezing Gianmarco Werkli towards the grass. Werkli just managing to hang on to it, sits there in third place, but it's Hazeman's that leads in the early stages of this one. Loris Hazeman's from Jacques Villeneuve in second place. It's Gianmarco Werkli in third place. Vittorio Garelli is there in fourth. And Luca Lasser is going wheel to wheel with Alain Day for 5th and 6th position as they all concertina up and turn their way through Camp Champignano for the first time. It looks as though everybody is still in the mix as well. There was one car that ran a little bit wide coming out of Chimney 2 and lost a couple of places, but still kept going. I don't think there's been any contact at all as yet that I've been able to see. Luca Lasser makes a mistake heading in towards Sarati. That's going to allow Alain Day to open up the door and try and squeeze his way through in the Monster Energy backed Chevy. And I think he made it through there, the 3 times champion. But Loris Hazeman's leads the way at this stage, and the good thing for Loris Hazeman's is that he's got a buffer. Oh, off is Bleaky Molan. That is Sebastian Bleaky Molan has gone off, 6th in the championship standings, and his car is in the gravel and going nowhere now. Is it far enough off track to prevent a full course caution? We'll have to wait and see. Race continues for the meantime, with that being covered by localised caution. Loris Hazeman's has got the buffer of Jacques Villeneuve behind him. His 2 main championship rivals are sitting 3rd and 4th at the moment. Werkli ahead of Vittorio Garelli. And as they head over the start-finish line to complete the first lap of the race, we are not as yet have any indication of going full course caution. So it looks as though wherever Sebastian Bleaky Molan's car has come to rest, it is for the moment far enough out of the way just to be covered by localised yellow flags. Now Hazeman's is just starting to break away a little bit now from Jacques Villeneuve. Luca Lasser still busy squabbling away with the number 88 Monster Energy back car of Alain Day. They're fighting away for 5th and 6th position. Alain gets a good run coming out of Chimney 2. Luca Lasser leaves the door open. Is he going to sneak his way through? It looks as though he is. The Chevy's going to dive up the inside of the double former champion. So through goes the Israeli, the reigning champion, but only for another 16 laps will he be the reigning champion, Alain Day, because that championship crown is surely going to head in the direction of either Hazeman's or Garelli or Werkli. So Day now up into 5th, Lasser down into 6th place, number 18 Giorgio Maggi sitting there in 7th place, Nicola Rocca is 8th, head of Romain Iniesta, and Leonardo Colavita inside the top 10 again as well, doing a really good job, the young 16-year-old, in his first season of racing. Now just getting away a little bit is still Loris Hazeman's. Jacques Villeneuve in the car that won yesterday's race, sitting there in 2nd position. Here's the replay of Alain Day. Luca Lasser left the door open really, invited the move, and Alain Day said, "Thank you very much, I'll take that away." Through he goes, picks up the place. So another lap about to be chalked into the book. Loris Hazeman's was 7/10 up the road from Jacques Villeneuve. There's still a little bit of smoke every now and again just coming from Gianmarco Werkli's car, which might just be a little bit of tyre rub. I've seen it a couple of times just coming out of Roma, the final corner. It seems to be coming from the right rear of the car, but it's not doing it all of the time, just a few little puffs here and there. So Hazeman's leads by still 3/4 of a second from Jacques Villeneuve. There's no let up in the pressure. Werkli, Garelli still all there. There's that smoke again just coming from the coattails of Gianmarco Werkli's car. Seems to be when he's going around a right-hander, it seems to come from the right-hand side of the car. Now that could be tyre rub, or if it's under acceleration, it could just be coming out of the exhaust system on it. Let's have a quick look now as he accelerates out of this one. No, a slower corner. hard acceleration out, but no puff of smoke. So I think it's just tyre rub probably for Gianmarco Ercoli. Now remember, if Hazemans, Ercoli or Pirelli win this race, they would be the champion as it is at the moment. Loris Hazemans is leading the way. He is the 2019 EuroNASCAR Pro Division champion. So he's been racing, did at least one Xfinity race this year, which was at Charlotte on the Roval. Moving to do a road course cup campaign next year in the new Hazelberg team that was announced with the introduction of the next gen car. Hopefully it won't mean that we don't see him at all in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. It'd be great to see Loris Hazemans back to defend his title in this as well, but logistically, flying from one side of the Atlantic to the other, it's not the easiest thing to do when you're trying to match two calendars together. So out of Roma, once more they will thread their way. Alan Day not merely making a great impression on the top four as he sits there in 5th position. He was 2.8 seconds drift of the race leader. Well, he's carved half a second out of it, actually, to be fair to Alan Day. So 2.3 seconds shy of the race lead now, rather than the 2.8 that he was. As for the subcategories as well, the leading junior driver is going to be in 3rd place at the moment, which is Gianmarco Ercoli. And who is going to be the leading challenger driver at the moment? I'll have to look through and see who that will be. I think that is going to be Bernardo Manfrey, is it? Down there in 11th position, the number 17 car. I can't see that there's any other challenger driver that would be ahead of him in terms of the race. No, Bernardo Manfrey from Henry Tuamada from Davide De Lara would be the top 3 in the challenger trophy for amateur drivers entering this. Oh, a great run being done by the number 17 shadow prepared car of Bernardo. There's Sebastian Bleekie-Molen's car off and out of harm's way. So that was Ferrati where he's gone off. So that's why it's out of harm's way and has just been covered by localised yellows. Now Jacques Villeneuve coming under a bit of pressure here from Gianmarco Ercoli at his home NASCAR Grand Prix. He'll want to try and squeeze his way through if he can. Don't rule out the fact that number 19 Vittorio Garelli will be poised, ready to take a place away. Alan Day has now come in to join in the fun as well, because they've all been travelling a little bit slower than Alan Day. The number 88 Cal Racing prepared Chevy has started to close up in the hands of the Israeli, the 3 times champion. Lap number 4 about to be completed. The lead advantage was 3/4 of a second. It's down to 0.6. Not sure it's moved a great deal on this lap. Might have come down just a shade more, maybe. No, it's gone back out to 3/4 of a second. So Hazemans still controlling everything that he needs to at this stage. And as we approach quarter distance, really, he's led every lap so far, Loris Hazemans. He's been to victory lane 11 times in his EuroNASCAR career. And 4 of those have been this year for Loris Hazemans. He's tonight 4th in the all-time winners list in EuroNASCAR Pro. But he's still topped by Alan Day with 27 career wins. He's now, 5 wins clear of Ander Villarino, who is 2nd with 22, and Fred Bell is 3rd in the all-time winners list. Hazemans from Jacques Villeneuve, Gianmarco Ercoli, Vittorio Garelli, Alan Day, all still together. Luca Lasser still sitting there in 6th place, not really as yet falling into the clutches of Giorgio Maggi or Nicola Rocca. And it's Romani and Rianetta and Leonardo Colavita that wrap up the top 10 at this stage. But good driving from Loris Hazemans is meaning that he's just always got enough of a gap between himself and Jacques Villeneuve so that he is not under attack. Now Villeneuve, without question, is getting closer. He's edging up, I think, again over the course of this lap. But he's still not close enough to attack or do a move. He's too far adrift. That telltale puff of smoke again from Ercoli's car. And that was more like underpower coming out of the corner where we saw the puff. We should see it again now. Yeah, again, that little puff there of smoke. That looks like it's coming out of the exhaust for me, but it doesn't seem to be affecting the 54 currently. So, another lap completed. Loris Hazemans still just managing to maintain the advantage. Half a second gap between himself and Jacques Villeneuve, but it's a quintet of cars for the lead of the race. On his own, in 6th place. So, looks as though there are some penalties come out. David De Lara has got a 5-second penalty for some sort of infringement. Bernardo Manfredi, who I was saying was leading the Challenger Trophy, has also got a 5-second penalty for some sort of infringement, so that's going to drop him down and out of 11th place. And I think the other car that's got it is going to be Luca Normi, who is running towards the tail end of the field. All of those 5-second penalties for infringements under the starting procedures. So they must have jigged out of their lines before they got to the start-finish line. You've got to stay in the line of cars until you get to the control line. Mistake there, Garelli has skittered wide there. Now, was that a puncture for Garelli? Because the car just didn't seem to turn into the corner. There goes Alon Day. So he's now up into 4th place. And he set about Gianmarco Werkley. And where is Vittorio Garelli? I think he's in the gravel trap. I don't think we can quite see it there, but I think he's in the gravel trap, you know. Yes, he is. There is Garelli, and that's his championship hopes gone. Garelli did run wide. It just seemed like the car didn't turn into the corner, so I'm not suggesting that was a mistake at all. I think there was some sort of issue maybe there with Garelli, because he didn't seem to go into the corner too quickly. Just didn't seem to turn or slow down sufficiently for him and caught him out. So Garelli, at his local track, of course, he is a Roman, out of the race, out of the championship battle at this stage. So now the championship battle comes down to the car that leads, the number 7 of Loris Hazemans, and the car that's there in 3rd position, Gianmarco Werkley, who simply needs to win. He's got to get past Jacques Villeneuve. He's then got to get past Loris Hazemans. Whilst we have yellow flags just localised at the moment, we are not going full course caution because of Garelli's car. Not at least yet. Now, Hazemans looked as though the 0.7 of a second gap has probably stretched a little bit further, I would say, on this particular lap. Up towards Zoratti again, and then from there it's up towards Brincea, where the circuit just climbs uphill very slightly, and over the brow, back downhill, in towards Semaforo, which the literal translation into English is traffic light. And then from there, from the left of the circuit, back to the right for Fornatino, which is the tightest corner on the circuit, actually, the left-hand hairpin at Fornatino. 4 for the lead of the race, the top 4 separated by just over 1.5 seconds last time through. Luca Lasser up to 5th, Giorgio Maggi up to 6th, Nicola Rocca up to 7th, Romain Iniesta up to 8th, Leonardo Colavita up to 9th, Bernardo Manfredi up to 10th, as a result of Garelli's misfortune and being offered into the gravel. So another lap completed over the start-finish line. 7 laps now chalked into the book for Loris Hazemans. Villeneuve is still within touching distance, still 5 seconds adrift, but half a second adrift really, 0.5 of a second shy. Can't afford to make a mistake. Still got Gianmarco Werkley breathing down his neck. And these drivers have been driving flat out for 7 laps, plus yesterday, plus qualifying. They are so limited on tyres, so it could come down to who's looked after their tyres better over the course of the weekend, because there might be different levels of drop-off towards the end of this race. And for Alon Day, if he can scoop up another podium place here, he would move jointly top of the all-time podium finishers list with Fred Gabion. Fred Gabion is just 1 podium place higher in terms of the number achieved in his career compared to Alon Day. And Alon Day would join Fred Gabion at the top of the all-time list of drivers on podiums in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. Well, they've all been close for several laps now, but nobody is able to outfox anybody else. They're all just holding position. Not the easiest track to overtake on, but we are going full course green once more. The localised yellows because of Pirelli have been withdrawn on this lap because the drivers have been past the point of the incident for a couple of laps, so they know it's there now. So all overtaking opportunities are once more available to everybody. Now remember, we've also got the subcategories in EuroNASCAR Pro to worry about. EuroNASCAR Pro has the junior category for those aged under 25. That is being led at the moment in this race by the car in 3rd place, number 54, Gianmarco Werkley, who is also on course to scoop up the junior championship for this year, because he is reasonably comfortably in the lead of that. And the leading challenger that we've got in the race at the moment is the number 17 car down in 10th place. But remember, Manfredi has a 5-second penalty, which is going to drop him from 10th, possibly, down behind Henry Tuamala, who is within half a second of him. So it would mean that Tuamala would scoop up, potentially if he stays where he is, he would on corrected times, gain the win in the Challenger Trophy for this race, and that would also give him the championship win in the Challenger Trophy. Lots of breaks there. That is number 89, car Davide Dallara, running wide. Through goes Dario Carzo, taking the place away. And that will be a change for 12th and 13th positions on that lap. For the lead of the race, still bumper to bumper, top three still together. Alan Day just sitting back a little bit here. Makes me wonder whether he's just going to see what unfolds. We are on the half-distance lap as well this time through. So an 18-lap race, we are on lap number 9. Villeneuve has got himself within 0.6 of a second of Hazelman's at the start of the lap. It looks as though he has managed to close that gap ever more this time through. A little bit slower though coming out of Cornettino, I would say, which means that gap first to second grows a little bit, and Villeneuve now comes under pressure from Gianmarco Urcoli. Alan Day closing up, but Luca Lasser is gaining on them as well. The Speedhouse car in the hands of the Frenchman, the 42-year-old. He was champion in this series back in its early days, back in 2009, 2010, Luca Lasser, and was still 4th in the championship standings coming into this weekend. So he's had a solid season, really, as Luca. So through Curva Grande, once more, through the very daunting section there. Hard onto the brakes through Chimney 1. Keep the lock on, run the car out towards the exit curve and keep the lock on, because you need to apex at Chimney 2 and get a good run coming off Chimney 2. Vital to get a good run off Chimney 2, because you carry all of that speed down the extension that was put onto this circuit at the turn of the millennium. 2004-2005, this new section was built, brings you all the way down towards this hairpin here. Campagnaro, and the door is open, and Jacques Villeneuve almost managed to unlock the door there to grab the lead of the race. Hazelman's just pushed a little bit wide as they head out of Campagnaro, but he's on the inside line as they head up towards the left-hander at Sorati. Villeneuve brakes as late as he can. He's going to try around the outside at Sorati. There's locked brakes from Loris Hazelmans, who loses the lead of the race. Jacques Villeneuve, wonderful move, fantastic, brave stuff from him. Picks up the lead of the race, and now Loris Hazelmans is coming under pressure from Gianmarco Urcoli. This has more implications for the championship. So Jacques Villeneuve leading at this stage. As long as Hazelmans stays ahead of Gianmarco Urcoli, then he would be good for the championship. We know Garelli is now out of it because of his off. Alan Day is in on the mix as well and could take points away from these two drivers ahead. And also Luca Lasser has managed to catch up as well now. So Villeneuve starting to escape in the lead of the race. Lap number 10, out of Roma, back over the start-finish line. Yet again, they will thread their way. Villeneuve was 0.3 of a second behind Hazelmans at the start of the lap. He is 0.9 of a second ahead of him at the end of the lap. So a great lap from Jacques Villeneuve, who now he's taken up the lead of the race, is able to put daylight between himself and Loris Hazelmans. Let's just have a look. Hazelmans just left the door open a little bit going in towards Campagnaro. He got the inside line for Sorati, so I thought that would be enough, but he braked as late as he dare. A snatch brake. Villeneuve, a bit more grip, a bit more bravery, a bit more tyre maybe underneath him. He was able to squeeze his way around the outside. Wonderful, clean move, clean overtake to take the lead of the race. At this point of the circuit, last lap where he took the lead of the race. Now, for Loris Hazelmans, second is still good enough at the moment. And even if Gianmarco Urcoli were to go through into second and Hazelmans dropped to third, that would still be enough for the championship for Hazelmans. And then even if maybe Alan Day and Luca Lasser went through and say Hazelmans dropped to 5th place, whilst Urcoli is still second, that would still be enough for Hazelmans as well. So Loris Hazelmans can afford to lose 3 places here. He could let the yellow and black car through, he could let the black car through, he could let the white car through and drop from 2nd to 5th, but still have enough in hand to secure the championship. And even if Nicola Rocca caught up, he could afford to lose a place to him as well. So it's looking good for Loris Hazelmans here. And the laps are continually just getting ticked off as well. 11 laps about to be completed. Jacques Villeneuve looking as though he's extended the lead margin again this time through. Not by much, I wouldn't have thought. Might have just come out by another 10th or so. Through over the start-finish line. Yeah, it's come out by a 10th, that's all. So just over a second up the road is Jacques Villeneuve, fresh from his first and historic win in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series yesterday. Could the 1997 Formula 1 World Champion make it a double here at Vallelunga? He's pushing hard, he's building a gap, There's Nicola Rocca's car in the background, the red car in 6th position. Now Urkely has dropped a little bit further away from Hazelman's on this lap, and Alan Day has dropped further away from Urkely, so the gap's just starting to open up a little bit now between the cars in 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and you could argue 5th places. They will close up a bit more as they head into the slower section of the circuit. Another car off towards the right-hand side there. That looks like Dario Carzo's number 8 car that has come to grief. As for the leaders in the subcategories, Gianmarco Urkely in 3rd place, still the leading junior driver, and the leading challenger driver is still in 10th place at the moment, but remember that number 17 car does have a 5-second penalty, so on corrected times Henry Tuamala would pick up the win in the challenger trophy. Both Urkely and Tuamala are also looking as though they are heading towards picking up the championships in the junior category and the challenger category respectively. It's not the junior championship that number 54 Gianmarco Urkely wants. He wants the overall championship. The 3rd place is not going to do it for him at the moment, and he's still stuck behind the championship leader, Loris Hazemans. Lap 12 about to be completed, on to lap 13. 6 to go, including the one that they're about to start. So through goes Jacques Villeneuve. The gap comes out by another 1/10 of a second, so he's just ever more edging away up the road. Loris Hazemans can't afford to relax particularly. If he does, he could lose a place or two. Shouldn't really affect him still, because Urkely really now needs to try and find something extra. Anything extra he's got at it that he can throw at it, he needs to find now, but he's just not ever close enough. Loris Hazemans too far away again as they head out of the unnamed left-hander and head down towards Campagnaro. Have a quick look at the replay here. That is a good overtake there from Francesco Sini, managing to squeeze his way through and ahead of Davide Amaduzzi. So that is going to be for 14th and 15th position, the number 12 Solaris Motorsport car now ahead of Amaduzzi, who returns to the series. We haven't really mentioned much of Davide Amaduzzi, but last time he raced with us was back in 2013 in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, so it's great to see him back. A huge amount of experience. He's done Formula 1 tests before for the likes of AGS and LaRousse and Benetton through the 1980s and 1990s. So a very, very experienced driver, but not seen much of him in EuroNASCAR since 2013. Now Urkely's getting the hurry up again here. He's started to close up again. I think he's dropped back for a lap or two to regather his thoughts, maybe just cool the car and the tyres off, and now he is back into full attack mode again, is the body language that the car is giving me, because he is hot on the heels of the Hendricks Ford that lies ahead. So Ford under attack from Gianmarco Urkely that sits behind at the wheel of his Chevrolet Camaro. Looks as though it's got the EuroNASCAR FJ body on the front of it, actually. On the entry list was a Chevy, but that looks like the FJ EuroNASCAR front end that's been grafted onto the 54 for this weekend. Whatever it is, it's going well. Again, that puff of smoke, it's not got any worse. It's always happened in the same places, but it's never got any worse at all. And it's certainly not affected the pace of the 54 car, but the Italian just can't make it through. Canadian leads, Dutchman second, Italian third, Israeli fourth, Frenchman fifth, Italian sixth, Frenchman seventh, Italian, a Swiss driver seventh, Italian in 8th place. As Urkely now looks around the outside at Cerati. Is he going to try and cut back at the exit of the corner? Tried it, didn't quite make it work. So, still sitting there in 3rd place. He's sort of paired off a bit more now. Hazelman's under attack from Urkely, then a gap, then Alan Day under attack from Luca Lasserre. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th altogether, whilst disappearing up the road is Jacques Villeneuve now, who is now 1 3/4 seconds to the good. Now, say Hazelman's can afford to lose a place to Urkely, lose a place to Day, and lose a place to Lasserre, and that would still be enough for the number 7 to become the overall champion for this year, if I've got the maths right. And the difficulty will be for Loris Hazemans if the door is left open for Urkely, then so close to Alan Day and Luca Lasserre behind, they might be able to capitalise on that and squeeze their way through. 14 laps completed. Villeneuve still continues to lead this race here. 2 seconds to the good from this great fight for 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th. And remember, of the cars inside the top 5, only number 7 and the number 54 mathematically now are in with a shout for the championship. Luca Leclerc would need something amazing to happen for the pendulum to swing back in his favour. He would need the cars really to trip over each other and take each other out. Here's Francesco Cini giving the hurry up to Fabrizio Ametta. Solaris car already having gained a place over Amaduzzi. Dives through ahead of Fabrizio Ametta. And Francesco Cini has made some good overtakes in this race, I've got to say that. Not quite sure why, having started 9th, he finds himself down in 12th. But there's a bit of damage to the front of the car. That might be the telltale signs as to what happened. They're off circuit rejoining. That looks like Federico Monti, I think. They're the number 2 car who stayed well and truly out of harm's way around the race leaders to pass. So that's Monti now off the lead lap. And the attack of Gianmarco Werkley on to the number 7 of Loris Hazelmans hasn't stopped yet. I thought he dropped a little bit further back a few corners ago, but he seems to be pushing again now. Werkley will know that whilst he remains behind Loris Hazelmans, that is not going to be sufficient for him to secure the championship. At the moment, Werkley would finish the championship if he stays where he is in 3rd place on 407 points. Loris Hazelmans would be on 418, so he would win by 7 points. That is all. And Jacques Villeneuve starting to get caught again. He was, 2 and a bit seconds up the road, but he's now only 1 3/4 seconds ahead of Loris Hazelmans. They're on lap number 15, so 3 more to go after the one that they are on. They've all been close, but we've not seen over the course of the last half dozen laps really any changes in the order. And if anything, again, Werkley is just dropping back away again, isn't he, from his main championship rival. Alan Day still hasn't shaken off the all-white car, number 64 of Luca Leclerc, who sits behind. And then 7 seconds adrift now is Nicola Rocca, who sits there in 6th place. Up towards Sperati again. Princie is the next of the corners before they then head in towards the right-hander at Semaforo. Villeneuve still leading the championship, ever more looking likely to head for the 2nd time in his career in the direction of Loris Hazelmans, who's the 2019 EuroNASCAR Pro Champion. Gianmarco Werkley will not give up whilst there's still petrol in the car, there's laps on the board and there's fight in his body. But is the Italian going to be able to overhaul Loris Hazelmans? And even if he gets past him and up to 2nd place, that's still not enough for him to win the championship. So 16 laps now completed. Jacques Villeneuve will head on to lap number 17, penultimate lap of the race, penultimate lap of the season, and we still, as yet, do not know who the champion is going to be. Out of the running, Vittorio Garelli with his off earlier on. Shame for him, the reigning or outgoing EuroNASCAR 2 champion. Couldn't step up to the top flight and claim the championship in his first season. He did claim his first win, though, in the top flight earlier on this year, which not many drivers have done before. But I don't think any driver has ever stepped up and won a pro race in their first season, having secured a NASCAR 2 championship. Taken a season or so to find their feet, so Garelli, without question, is going to be one of the front runners next year if he returns to EuroNASCAR Pro. For Jacques Villeneuve, a great end to the season. First win in EuroNASCAR, took a while to come since he first appeared in the 2019 championship season. Claimed that first win yesterday. He was robbed of a win here last year, really. The car was leading before it failed him. So he went to victory lane yesterday for the first time, and as we've said on so many occasions, a bit like buses, you wait for one and 2 come along at once, and that looks as though potentially what's going to happen to Jacques Villeneuve here. Loris Hazelmans and Gianmarco Werkley have got their sleeves rolled up. They're still slugging it out like a pair of heavyweight fighters. A little nudge there from Werkley into the coattails of the number 7 Hendricks Ford, which delays Loris Hazelmans. Werkley's going to capitalise on that and squeeze his way through up to 2nd position. That would put him on 409 points now, but Hazelmans would still be on 416 down in 3rd place, and even if Alan Day and Luca Leclerc went through, he'd still only then be down to 412 points, so even 2nd is not enough for Werkley, even if Hazelmans loses 2 further places on what is now the final lap of the final race of the season. The win surely going the way of Jacques Villeneuve, who leads by 3.2 seconds. But Hazemans wants second place back if he can. He jinks out to try and draw himself alongside Gianmarco Werkley on the run towards Chimney 1. Nothing doing there. He's not going to try anything until they exit Chimney 2, and he'll try and get a good run coming off this corner. So important to get the run coming off this corner. Werkley under pressure from Hazemans. Hazemans under attack from Alan Day. Luca Lasser in on the mix as well. There's championships to be settled. Alan Day is not in the championship fight, but he'd like to try and finish on the podium, and now he's trying round the outside of Loris Hazemans as they head through Champignano, and he's going to make it stick. Yeah, Hazemans loses a further place. Might he lose a further place to Luca Lasser as they head up towards Cerati. Hazemans can afford to let all of these cars go through, and at the moment he is just about clinging on to fourth position. If he drops to fifth, he still would secure the championship, but it is going to be a win for Jacques Villeneuve, who's going to finish second, third, fourth and fifth. We'll have to wait and see as they head round through Semaforo for the final time up towards Tonantino. It is a win for Jacques Villeneuve. Hercules still in second, but Alan Day nipping at his heels. Loris Hazemans under attack from Luca Lasser, who's going to go through and drop him down into fifth position, but that's still enough for Hazemans to be the champion, but only just now, up towards the final corner. It's a double win this weekend, a historic weekend for Jacques Villeneuve, who goes to victory lane for the first 2 times in his NASCAR Whelen Euro Series career. Villeneuve claims the win. Hercules finishes in second place, ahead of Alan Day, who now jointly joins Fred Gabion on top of the all-time podium finishers list in third place. Luca Lasser in fourth, and Loris Hazemans finishes in fifth place to finish on 512 championship points compared to Gianmarco Werkley's 409. So I've got the maths right. Hazemans is the champion, subject to official confirmation, and now a double champion, and he has secured that championship by just 3 championship points after a full season of racing. Fantastic stuff. Nicola Rocca finishes in 6th place, Romain Iniesta in 7th, Giorgio Maggi in 8th, Leonardo Colavita in 9th place, Bernardo Manfredi 10th, but remember that car has a 5-second penalty, so it should drop down from 10th place. Will lose the win in the Challenger section of that race, and that will then ultimately go the way of the number 23 car of Henry Tuamala, who will secure the Challenger trophy, and I think that will also stitch up the Challenger championship for him. So let's just confirm the results then. Jacques Villeneuve claims the win, back-to-back wins for him at Autodromo de Vallelunga. Gianmarco Werkley finishes in second place in the race. He will also finish second in the championship standings, but he will be our junior champion for this year. Alan Day finishes in third place, and that now means that in terms of overall podiums for him, he matches Fred Gabion at the top of the list of all-time podium finishers in EuroNASCAR Pro. Luca Lasser finishes there in fourth position. Graphic disappears off the screen, but fifth was Loris Hazemans, 6th with Nicola Rocca, 7th was Romain Iniesta, 8th Giorgio Maggi, 9th Leonardo Colavita, 10th place was Bernardo Manfredi, but that was on track of course, time penalties to be issued towards him. 11th was Francesco Cini, 12th was Henry Tuamala, 13th was Fabrizio Armetta, good result from him off the back of the grid. Davide Dallara was there in 14th place, Davide Amaduzzi was 15th, ahead of Yevgen Sokolovsky, Federico Monti, Dario Carzo, Vittorio Garelli, and problems for Luca Nurmi. Start of the race was a good one. Jacques Villeneuve going wheel to wheel with Loris Hazemans when the lights went out, and Jacques Villeneuve did not lift at this section of the race yesterday. Without question he didn't lift today, but Hazemans, there was no way he was not going to want to try and take up the lead of the race in the early stages. Alan Day managed to squeeze his way through and past Luca Lasser. That would promote him up into 5th position in the early stages of the race, but then there was an off for Vittorio Garelli, and with it his championship hopes managed to disappear as well. Dario Carzo was fighting his way up through the order, and then Jacques Villeneuve with an audacious move right the way around the outside of champion-elect Loris Hazemans at Cerati to pick up the lead of the race and leave Loris Hazemans to squabble it out for the rest of the race. Francesco Cini continued to make good progress through the order. Gianmarco Werkley had a couple of nibbles at Loris Hazemans to try and take the place away. The progress of Francesco Cini still continued as well, with another good overtake as he squeezed his way past Fabrizio Armatta's Chevy on the run in towards Tonantino. But for Loris Hazemans, he was pushed all of the way, lost a few places towards the end of the lap, finished in 5th place, but the maths will tell you that's good enough for the championship. But for that man there, look at the smile on Jack Villeneuve's face. He has had just the best weekend at Vallelunga, and he will be hugely, hugely pleased with that. Bringing the Academy Motorsport, Alex Caffey Motorsport, jointly prepared machine towards victory lane for the second time, and rightly so. He looks hugely, hugely pleased with that. He's down there in victory lane, which means we can hand you down to Andre.
Jacques Villeneuve, 2 race wins in a row now. A perfect way to end this NASCAR Euro Series season, right?
Yeah, we only missed pole on Saturday morning. The car was really flying. Well, we didn't have in the straight line speed we had in the corners, and that worked. At some point, I didn't want to get involved in the championship fight, but Loris was slowing me down, and the guys behind were up my gearbox, so I just had to go for it. And then it was just a question of keeping the gap.
Is this a foreshadowing of what we can see from you in 2022?
I don't know where I'll be in 2022. We still have a lot to do, maybe some stuff in the States, so we're just looking now. Still have a lot of other stuff to do. It has nothing to do with NASCAR, Christmas, and then we can start breathing and figuring out the future.
All right, thank you so much and congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, great to hear from Jack Villeneuve there. Hopefully we'll gain some more reaction from down there in the pit lane area and victory lane. And hopefully we might be able to chat to our champion as well for this year. I'm sure Loris Hasemans will be more than happy to give us an interview, because of course he is not made a feature on the podium presentations for the race overall, but we will have the championship presentations also taking place, and I'm hoping that we might be able to hang around for all of those. But as I said earlier on, we've got other live streams going on here at Vallelunga, and it might mean that we don't have time to bring you the championship presentations. Let's hope so, but we apologise in advance should we need to cut the broadcast a little bit earlier than anticipated. So the celebrations will continue down there in victory lane and the podium. Certainly looks as though here is our champion. So there is Loris Hasemans. He knows that he is now a 2 times NASCAR Whelen Euro Series Pro champion, having first secured it in 2019 with Hendricks. He secures it for a second time with the same team, and he looks as though he is not only pleased with that, but pretty shattered, I would have thought as well, because I don't think there was any point in that race that Loris Hasemans either wasn't attacking or having to defend. And he would have been chatting to the spotter. He would have known the fact that, you know, the cars behind were quicker. Don't let them bump you and put you into a spin and maybe cause you to stall the engine or have an off. Let them go through on the final lap, because whilst you might want to finish on the podium overall, the championship is more important, and 5th place was enough. So he will be as pleased as punch with that. And remember, it does now mean that that number 7 car will also have scooped up, I'm sure, the team's championship. Hendricks for sure, the team's champion for this year. And that car there, the number 7 car, also was the car that Martin Dubeck won the EuroNASCAR 2 championship in as well. And I'm looking back through the records, and I think that's the first time we've had the same car win both championships, EuroNASCAR 2 and EuroNASCAR Pro. Not entirely sure when we go back sort of 10 years plus, but since it was NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, I'm not sure. Maybe Maxime Dumry and Anthony Kumpen, PK Passport, maybe in 2014, that was the same car. It might have been, but not very often it happens. So let's chat to the champion who's down there with Andre. Congratulations, Loris Hasemans.
You are a 2-time NASCAR Whelen Euro Series champion and the youngest in the history books of the series. How do you feel?
Well, words can't describe right now. It's an amazing feeling. This time it's really not sinking in. Last time around it was kind of around this time. It just feels amazing. I'm super happy with all that we have done over the year. Missing a weekend, well, 2 races in Zolder, and still being able to come back. And yeah, this is the perfect send-off to go towards the States, I think.
So what's the plan for 2022? Just go through your plans again for next year.
Yeah, so next year I'll be taking part in the NASCAR Xfinity Series part-time, as well as taking part-time, hopefully, part in the Cup Series. So it's a very exciting project with Team Hazeberg, sponsored by, or powered by Rayon Brothers. It's a very exciting opportunity, and I'm just so happy. I can't wait to get started.
All right, congratulations again. 2-time NASCAR Whelen Euro Series champion Loris Hasemans next year in the NASCAR Cup Series.
Great to hear from Loris Hasemans there. I've been totting up the maths as well whilst all that's been going on. So Hasemans, subject to official confirmation, the champion on 412 points. Geomark Workley, 409 points, will be in the championship. And I think third in the championship, Luca Lasser would be third in the championship. Back down, though, to victory lane, where I think Andre has managed to grab the points.
This is the mastermind behind Hendrix Motorsports. You have 2 championship wins this weekend with Martin Dubeck and Loris Hesemans. How proud are you of these guys?
Well, we set a goal in the beginning of the season. I told you something what I wanted to do, and well, after some breathtaking moments in both races, actually, well, we did it, and well, super proud of what we did, and well, especially very thank you much for all the people that helped us, and also for the Hesemans family who made it possible for us to start all this this racing, and well, all the guys did an amazing job. I mean, there's really hard work to get on this level, and well, we got them all. I mean, Elite Pro, Elite 2 and the team championship, so well, couldn't be more happy.
Alright, so 2022, the mission is going to be to defend those titles?
I don't know yet. I mean, it cannot be a lot better than this though, but we keep on going and keep on doing the best job we can.
Alright, thank you well, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, great to hear there. And well, if the Hendrix team weren't going to party after the championship win for Martin Dubeck in the EuroNASCAR 2 division earlier on today, they are certainly going to be partying, and rightly so, very late into Halloween night, because as we just heard there, not only are they the EuroNASCAR 2 Drivers' Championship this year, they've secured the EuroNASCAR Pro Championship, and they have secured Teams Championship for this year, so it is a perfect season for Hendrix Motorsport, and they have, regardless of which car of theirs it has been, they have been the team to beat this year. And Cal Racing have turned them over on a couple of occasions, they've had DF1 turn them over on a couple of occasions, but they've won more races than anybody this year as a team, and their drivers have been consistently on the podiums and inside the top 5s, top 10s all season, so deserved for them to be the team's championship for this year. And also they make a little bit of history because they are the first team now to secure 3 teams championship. We've had 2 in the past with PK Car Sport. Hendrix now are 3 times a team's championship winner, and they've done it on 3 consecutive seasons, 2019, 2020 and 2021 as well. So wonderful to see the excitement from there. Big smile still on Loris Hesemans' faces. Yeah, I was talking about doing the maths on the championship. So yeah, I think Luca Lasser finishes the championship on 399 points. We can see him move up to 3rd in the championship. Nicola Rocca, I think, will finish 4th in the championship on 386. And Vittorio Pirelli, because of his requirement, I think he'll finish in the championship on 381. 6th in the championship being scored by Alon Day as a result of problems, of course, Sebastian Bleaky Nolan. So I think he's top 6th in the overall championship. In terms of the junior championship, junior champions this year will be Gianmarco Ercoli, runner-up in the championship overall, scooping up the top title for the Drivers' Aid 25 and under at the beginning of the season. He's not eligible for that next year, he's still on for it. And then Henry Kuamala will be the Challenger champion for this year, if I've got the maths right. But again, I'll await confirmation on all of that, and confirmation with regards to which drivers we're going to see heading up onto the podium for the race presentations. And then after we get the race presentations done and dusted, we will be moving on to our championship presentations. There's Villeneuve taking that checkered flag, his 2nd win of the season, and big smile on his face, those so crystal clear blue eyes of Jacques Villeneuve, and a little facial expression there just to say, yeah, that's it, double winner, pleased with that. Right, as though he should be. Information coming in with regard to the podiums. Just to confirm the Challenger Trophy, because Margot Maltry won that on road in 10th position, but of course was handed a 5-second penalty, so he doesn't claim the Challenger Trophy win in the race on correct time, so he dropped 3rd in that Challenger Trophy. So Henry Tuamala and Fabrizio Amato will go ahead of him in the race on correct time, so as I expected, he would lose out on the win. We will have the race podium. We will have the TJ Fastest Driver of the Weekend Award, which will be a titanium ring, presented by Luca Saladino of TJ Jewellery. We will have the best team of the weekend, That will go the way of Hendricks Motorsport, of course. Then we'll have our junior trophy, top 3 from the race, and our challenger trophy, top 3 from the race. Once we've done that, we will then have the championship award, the overall championship. The team's championship will be the top 3 that get presented in the team's championship, top 3 in the junior trophy, and the top 3 in the challenger trophy for the season. Those will be so lots of podiums to get through in reality. And as we say, we will endeavour to try and bring you as many of those as we can before potentially we have to stop the broadcast. And we'll head to Federico Monti heading to the podium. Not quite sure what he's looking for there. It's not his turn to be on the podium yet. Disappear, Federico. You'll be back up in a moment, don't worry. Fielder taking a well-earned drink. So he has made his way up towards the podium entrance.
Il a burné? Il a burné?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 drivers we need for the podiums coming up have been sorted. We only need to scoop up a few more different drivers for the season trophy. First podium presentation will be taking place very shortly indeed. The champagne is there. Trophies will be presented by our VIP guests. Michele Giannieri, Marie Poloi and Alessandro Bom, scheduled to present the trophies to the third, the second and the first driver respectively for the race that we've just had. All of the final checks and balances have been done. Drivers will be introduced out onto our final podium of the season for the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series EuroNASCAR Pro Division. It's been another great season of racing. We started the season in Spain at Valencia, Circuit Ricardo Tormo, then we travelled to the Czech Republic and Autodromo Most. Then it was on to the UK over what was Independence Weekend as well, 3rd and 4th of July, Brands Hatch down in the south of the UK. Then it was on to Grobnik for the round in Croatia in September. Circuit Zolder for final race of the regular season for the NASCAR Grand Prix of Belgium. And then here for the first time ever, Italy is holding the championship finals on our second ever visit to Autodromo Vallelunga. Been for the Italian round of the NASCAR Grand Prix. Changing venues really. We beat Monza, was the first ever visit to Italy, was Monza back in 2013. Then we went to Magione in 2014 and 15. We went to Adria in 2016. And then it was on to Franciacorta for the races in Italy in 2017, 18 and 19. Vallelunga is the 5th different circuit that we have been to on our travels around Europe over the years. And 5th different circuit now to have held the European round of the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, the Italian Grand Prix. Now again, apologies for the delay, ladies and gentlemen. We had a bit of a delay for the start of the EuroNASCAR 2 podiums whilst we were waiting for everybody to be gathered up. And I think still, as you could see a few moments ago, a few of the drivers making their way towards the podium. It didn't matter that Loris Hastings was a bit later arriving because he's not going to feature on the first 3 podiums, the race podiums, but Jim Mark Workley was walking up with him, so we do need to make sure that we've got him if we do need him for this first podium. There's Victory Lane. Crowd all assembled, photographers ready to try and get the snaps. Still having to leave a walkway through. Yevgen Sokolovsky only just making his way through shot as well. There's a few drivers that are still walking around. Don't need Yevgen for this first batch of podium presentations. Winner's car, the champion's car. They're down below the podium. The fans are ready, the teams are ready. It's just the drivers that we need to now make sure that are ready before we introduce them out onto our podium. Of course, there'll be plenty more reaction as well coming up over the course of the next few hours and days and weeks, and announcements being made about what is happening in 2022. So your best bet to stay in contact with us during the off-season when there's no racing taking place is to follow us on all of our social media outlets. So it's at EuroNASCAR if you are on Twitter or Instagram. Like us on Facebook with the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series page. You can of course subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, so just search for EuroNASCAR on YouTube, and of course the website where all of the news is released continually as the picture builds up as to who's joining us for the 2022 championship season, teams are becoming involved, who's returning to defend titles, which new drivers are coming in as well. That will all be available on EuroNASCAR.com, EuroNASCAR.com. So it looks like one of our sporting races is just about to head out on towards the grid, which does make me slightly concerned that we are not going to get the championship podiums done within the time frame we have available to us. I'm hoping we at least get top three in this race done, and we then are able to drop in all the subcategories of the podium. I apologise in advance for choreography for the live television productions, not just for this, but all of the supporting races that go out on their individual social media channels. It's not easy. So here comes on the podium, on to third position on the podium. Alan Day heads onto the podium in third place. Congratulations to Alan Day, the outgoing EuroNASCAR Pro Champion, still the most successful driver in the series with 27 wins under his belt. Marco Ercoli finishes in second place in the race. Hard fought race by Gianmarco. Two Cal Racing teammates shake hands, but it's the top step of the podium. 2 wins this weekend and now 2 in his EuroNASCAR Pro career. Jacques Villeneuve on the top step of the podium. Big smile from Jack, and then you should also see team representative heading onto the podium. Jack shaking the hand. The team representative from Cafe Motorsport up onto the podium. And now that we have our team representative and our 3 drivers on the podium, it's time for the national anthem and the winning driver. Apologies that you could only just hear the national anthem of Canada there. Positioning of the podium directly above the pit lane where the support race is heading out of the circuit. So trophy presentations being done. So Michaela Dineri representing Whelen presents the trophy to Alan Day. Gianmarco Ercoli gets presented with his trophy, and it should be Alessandro Bon representing Whelen that will hand over the Race Winners trophy. Now, changed presenters again. We had this earlier on, didn't we? Where people were expected to present the trophies weren't. I think we'll perhaps. And also the team winning award goes the way of Academy Stroke Alex Cafe Motorsport, their joint venture for this season. Onto the podium. The award for that has got top 3 drivers in the race. Pose for the photographs. And now it's time for the champagne for the final race of the season on the podium. I gather we will be able to stay with you for all of the podiums. We will be able to conduct all of these race podiums and I think the championship podiums. So delighted to be able to bring you all of those confirmations I've just received. So stick with us, everybody. We will get through the race podiums and then the championship trophies will be brought out as well. So enjoying the moment and getting a soaking from Alan Day. They kick bottles and then as they head off the podium, Mark Workley dropping his campaign bottle down to the car racing team. All it easy for him. He'll be disappointed with second place, I'm sure, but he will also know that finishing as the rookie champion, as the junior champion and second overall and bringing it to the final round bodes well for 2022 if he returns to the series. So the next award should be for the DJ Fastest Driver Award of the event. A wonderful titanium ring with the Italian colours on it as well, presented by Luca Saladino from DJ Jewellery, one of the supporters of the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series over the last couple of seasons. Not just the titanium rings that they presented each round, but the fantastic Champions Trophy as well that will get presented. So there is Jacques Villeneuve with the Fastest Driver Award, and Luca Saladino presenting the titanium ring. Jacques Villeneuve, we thank DJ for their continued support of the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. A very special ring that is diamond encrusted, Italian flag around the very edges of the titanium ring. And Jacques Villeneuve has picked up his first of those of the season. Alan Day's already got 5 of those back at home. Loris Hazelman's has got 4, but it's the first one that Jacques Villeneuve would have picked up. So from the TJ Fastest Driver of the Event Award, we now move on to the best team this weekend. And it is scheduled to be presented by Stefano Raimondi, representing Whelen. The best team this weekend. No surprise where that is heading. It's heading in the direction of Hendricks Motorsport. It'll be heading for number 7 car that has claimed both Drivers' Championship EuroNASCAR 2 with Martin Dubeck and EuroNASCAR Pro with Loris Hazelman.
Ed è Hendricks Motorsport a conquistare il titolo di questo weekend, trofeo presentato da Stefano Raimondi di Whelen. Hendricks Motorsport on the first place.
So there we go, Hendricks Motorsport representatives heading up onto the podium. Various team members, because of course it is a team sport. All of these guys and girls, you might see some of the faces, but most of them will be at the back of the garage working hard and don't necessarily always get the moment of glory that they deserve. But up onto the podium go the Hendricks team, and what a great season they have had. So, team of the weekend, Hendricks. They managed to find some champagne as well. Rather soggy looking engineers heading off the podium. So we've done our top 3 in the race overall, we've done our Fastest Driver of the Weekend award, we've done the Team of the Weekend award, so it's now time to move on to our next couple of podiums for the race that we've just seen before we then head towards our season award. After that, 2 more race podiums, then the season award. And our next podium will be for the Junior Trophy in the EuroNASCAR Pro Division. This is for drivers up to 25 years of age at the beginning of the season.
Ora premiamo la classifica Junior Trophy con in terza posizione Leonardo Calavita, poi Giorgio
Finishing in 3rd position in that for this weekend, heading onto the podium will be Leonardo Colavita heads onto the podium, finishing in 3rd place. 2nd place should be Giorgio Maggi, and the winner of the Junior Trophy in that race, Gianmarco Ercoli, heads on to the top step of the podium.
Il trofeo di Leonardo Colavita, Giorgio Maggi
from Whelen.
Marta Ferri consegna il premio a Leonardo Colavita.
It should be that's presenting these trophies. 3rd place trophy over to Leonardo Colavita. Busy weekend for the young 16-year-old.
Secondo Giorgio Maggi.
Giorgio Maggi picks up his trophy for 2nd place in the race in the Junior Trophy. He'll still be eligible for that next year, whereas Gianmarco Ercoli, who is the winner of the Junior Trophy, I think he is now not eligible for that in 2022. He'll move out of the junior category because he's too old. Mid-20s, too old, scary, isn't it? So there we go, that's the Junior Trophy done. And then the final race podium before we move on to our season award will be for the Challenger Trophy. which is for amateur drivers racing in the professional division. Another Manfred finishes in third place, the checkered flag and the win, but was given a time penalty, of course, which dropped him down through the order. Second in the Challenger Trophy should be Fabrizio Ametta. There he goes onto the podium now. Fabrizio at the top step of the podium. Henry Tuamala, the Finnish driver, wins the race for the Challenger Trophy. And we'll see him back onto that podium when we get to the season awards as well for the Challenger Trophy, because if I've got the maths right, he is our Challenger Trophy champion for this year. Yet again, Henry Tuamala, who since joining the NASCAR Winning Euro Series has been arguably one of the quickest of the Challenger drivers that we've had. So there we go, Bernardo receives his trophy, Bernardo Manfred, Fabrizio Ametta, and Henry Tuamala. Typical quiet Scandinavian is Henry Tuamala. Smile on his face, doesn't say much, but is indecently quick behind a race car, Henry Tuamala. So there we go, that is the last of our race podiums done. And now we will hopefully quickly move on to the championship podium. So this is for the end of season championship by the time we've done all of the plotting up across all of the races, and what has been a brilliant weekend of finals. For the first time, the finals having been held in Italy. We've had the semi-finals on a couple of occasions in Italy in the past, whether it be Monza or Maggione. It's the first time finals, and there is TJ, again, the fantastic championship trophy that TJ have produced for this year. Brand new trophy. Not that one, the other one that was just put out to the podium. Those are the Team FJ awards. The championship trophy has been produced by TJ, who I've also awarded, as we saw a few moments earlier, Jacques Villeneuve with his titanium ring of being the fastest driver of the weekend. And the way these podiums will work, you'll get the top three in the championship overall onto the podium, the top three then in the team's championship onto the podium, top three junior drivers onto the podium, and our final podium is going to be top three in the Challenger Trophy. There is the TJ Trophy. Look at that fantastic titanium trophy that's been produced from TJ, and without them and the help of Whelen and Hoosier and everyone else, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. We thank them for their continued support in the series. Top three in the championship, onto the podium, finishing third in the end in the championship overall. Luca Lasser, I got the maths right, third in the championship for the 2009-2010 champion. What a season Luca has had. He heads onto the third step of the podium. Finishing second in the championship overall is Gianmarco Ercoli. Congratulations to Gianmarco. But the top step of the podium, the champion for 2021 in the NASCAR Winning Euro Series Pro Division, Loris Hazemans heads up onto the top step of the podium, shakes the hand of Luca Lasser, shakes the hand of Gianmarco Ercoli. Time for the national anthem of the champion. There we go, the national anthem of the Netherlands for our 2021 NASCAR Winning Euro Series Pro champion. Now the trophies to be presented. Alessandro Bon representing Whelen hands the third place trophy over to Luca Lasser. Luca Saladino representing TJ will present the second place trophy to Gianmarco Ercoli. And the champion will receive his trophy from Jerome Galpin, president of the NASCAR Winning Euro Series, and Alan Boykman representing NASCAR. This will be the last podium that we will show, as we need to cut the broadcast after this podium presentation, but we will get to see the champion lift this fantastic TJ Championship trophy that will be presented by Jerome Galpin and Alan Boynton. Luca Lasser and Gianmarco Ercoli have got theirs. Ah, there we go. So there we go. Alan Boynton and Jerome Galpin Alan Boynton representing NASCAR, Jerome Galpin, the president of the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. Look at that fantastic championship trophy that is going the way of Loris Hazemans. Lifted aloft, he is our 2021 NASCAR Whelen Euro Series champion, and a 2 times champion at that as well. So that is all from 2020 and the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. Thank you for joining us at Vallelunga. Remember, look after all of our social media over the course of the winter at EuroNASCAR on Twitter and on Instagram, or follow our page on Facebook. From everybody here, it's crowned our champions. We're done for the season. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you in 2022. From myself, Mark Werrell, goodbye.
E ovviamente è arrivato il momento dello champagne.
Amici appassionati di motorsport, buon pomeriggio, bentornati sull'Autodromo di Vallelunga per vivere insieme le emozioni dell'ultima parte di gare della giornata, penultimo appuntamento stagionale per quanto riguarda la Top Jet FX 2000 Formula Trophy FX2, vetture che si stanno schierando in griglia in questo momento. Marco Previtera in cabina di commento, do il benvenuto al mio fianco anche all'organizzatore del campionato, Piero Longhi. Ciao Piero.
Ciao Piero, buongiorno a tutti. Vediamo anche molta gente in tribuna, che era un po' che non si vedeva.
E infatti questa è una componente davvero molto importante per quanto riguarda il motorsport. Allora andiamo con le immagini in griglia perché sta partendo la gara della Top Jet FX 2000 Formula Trophy, ieri caratterizzata naturalmente dal successo di Renato Papaleo. Tutto è pronto con la bandiera verde in fondo allo schieramento. Tra qualche istante scatteranno l'accensione dei semafori rossi e poi il verde con Sandro Zell pronto a partire dalla pole position. 4-5 sui motori, si parte in questo momento con il buono spunto da parte di Sandro Zeller, che come ricordiamo fa parte della serie Drexler. Occhio anche a Renato Papaleo che è al comando per quanto riguarda la classifica provvisoria del tricolore Top Jet FX 2000 Formula Trophy dopo la gara di ieri, ma vediamo queste prime fasi di gara con Zeller al comando, poi Papaleo, quindi Dino Rasero in terza posizione. Si va verso la staccata dei cimini anche con Salvatore Liotti che ieri si è aggiudicato il titolo assoluto nella FX2 nelle primissime posizioni. Insomma Piero, start regolare con Zeller che ha mantenuto il comando delle operazioni, e ricordiamo che Papaleo, come dicevamo, mantiene il comando al momento per quanto riguarda la serie tricolore.
Sì, dai, dopo effettivamente i problemi che abbiamo avuto ieri con una bandiera rossa e poi con una safety car, direi che qui sono stati veramente tutti molto bravi, perché vi ricordo che sono 35 macchine in pista, quindi effettivamente la partenza il momento più drastico. Adesso abbiamo visto che un sorpasso da parte di Benjamin Berta, che è molto scatenato perché sta attaccando
Davvero
anche
aggressivo,
Papaleo.
eccolo qua,
Sì.
Benjamin Berta all'attacco di Renato Papaleo e dunque si porta in seconda posizione il giovane pilota ungherese.
Sì, infatti effettivamente è partito quarto e ha prima sorpassato nello stesso giro Dino Rasero e adesso ha sorpassato anche Renato Papaleo e sembra avercene di più. Già ricordo che per lui è la seconda gara, è iscritto sia nella serie Drex che nella serie Top Jet, quindi mentre Zeller è trasparente per la nostra serie, lui no, e quindi sicuramente sarà un avversario molto molto duro. Adesso vediamo che sta andando anche a prendere Zeller, e quindi ottima partenza per lui. Bene Renato Papaleo, che ieri ha comunque forse portato a casa il primo posto, e seguito a Dino Rasero che sta mantenendo il passo.
E allora si è concluso il primo giro di gara con Sandro Zeller che ha transitato con 6 decimi di vantaggio nei confronti di Benjamin Berta, che ricordiamo partecipa sia al campionato italiano che alla serie Drexler, mentre qui l'attacco e il tentativo perlomeno da parte di Marco Minelli nei confronti di Franco Cimarelli per la quinta posizione, mentre qui le immagini sono andate a concentrare la propria attenzione su Sandro Zeller, il gruppetto di testa con un Benjamin Berta davvero molto aggressivo in questa fase finale, ma non molla il colpo nemmeno Renato Papaleo e Dino Rasero, che sono a questo punto i due principali contendenti al titolo nei confronti del leader Bernardo Pellegrini, che come ricordiamo ieri ha avuto dei problemi tecnici e quest'oggi purtroppo non ha preso il via, per cui Papaleo e Rasero dovranno cercare di guadagnare quanti più punti possibili per provare a ricucire il gap che li separa da Bernardo Pellegrini in classifica.
Sì, vero Marco, perché sia Pellegrini ha avuto un grosso problema a viaggiare nelle qualifiche, effettivamente aveva la macchina che non andava, hanno tramite Spis, il motorista, ha fatto mandare giù un motore nuovo durante la notte, un'operazione incredibile, però purtroppo il problema si è ripresentato anche in gara 1 e giustamente Bernardo ha preferito, visto che tutto doveva partire dal fondo, ha preferito rinunciare e prepararsi bene per Misano. Aveva un grosso vantaggio, però come hai detto tu adesso sicuramente Renato Papaleo e Dino Rasero ne stanno approfittando. Vediamo che dopo un avvio molto veloce di Berta adesso il gruppo sembra compatto, vedo qualche frenata, qualche inchiodata di Berta, quindi come vedete sì, molto aggressivo in questi, addirittura
all'esterno,
all'esterno, incredibile.
Grande
se riesce
manovra
a portare a casa il sorpasso,
grande manovra
sì,
per Benjamin Berta, che è riuscito all'esterno a scavalcare Sandro Zeller, il quale però replica alla Soratte, e vediamo l'incrocio di traiettorie, questo splendido duello tra Sandro Zeller e Benjamin Berta. I due procedono affiancati in questo momento verso la curva del semaforo, le vetture si sfiorano con Zeller all'interno, Benjamin Berta tiene duro all'esterno, vediamo che ora ci si avvicina verso il tornantino. Straordinario questo duello ruota a ruota per la prima posizione tra Benjamin Berta e Sandro Zeller, con Papaleo alle loro spalle e Rasero che provano naturalmente ad approfittarne, ma Benjamin Berta è il nuovo leader della gara. Insomma, tu da pilota puoi testimoniarci che questo è stato davvero
bellissimo,
un gran bel duello.
Bellissimo, bel duello, molto tutto da parte di entrambi molto pulito, nessuna diciamo scorrettezza, e effettivamente il sorpasso soprattutto all'esterno di Benjamin Berta è stato bellissimo, ma altrettanto bello quello di Zeller, dove si è infilato al tornantino. Secondo me ha sorpreso un po' Benjamin, perché non pensava. Adesso vediamo molto aggressivo Renato Papaleo che si fa sotto a Zeller ha mollato un pochettino il passo e Benjamin Berta sta prendendo un po' di distacco, e molto bene anche Dino Rasero, perché segue Renato Papaleo a ruota, e quindi i due diciamo i seguitori per il titolo italiano sono tutti e due molto vicini.
E occhio, attenzione anche alla bagarre
Grande
tra Rasero
di
e Renato Papaleo, che si giocano davvero punti importanti per la classifica di campionato, in quanto sono i diretti inseguitori di Bernardo Pellegrini, il quale si è presentato qui a questo appuntamento di Vallelunga con oltre 50 punti di margine, che gli consentiranno comunque di presentarsi al comando della classifica provvisoria in vista del round finale, che lo ricordiamo andrà in scena sul circuito di Misano Adriatico tra 2 settimane. Quindi occhio al duello tra Papaleo e Rasero, mentre diamo anche uno sguardo alle posizioni retrostanti della classifica, con Cimarelli in quinta posizione, Marco Minelli in sesta, poi Salvatore Liotti, neocampione FX2 al comando anche quest'oggi in settima posizione, Tapinos in ottava, Milani in nona, Palomieri molto bene ancora il portacolori del PLM Racing in 10ª piazza, quindi Francesco Azzori per Derba Corse in 11ª posizione, Edoardo Bonanomi con la F3 Maigale in 12ª, quindi Patrick Bellezza in 13ª piazza, il giovane Carlo Tamburini con la prima delle Formula 4 in 14ª piazza, a seguire 15º Arnese, 16º Saglio, poi Turchetto che è al comando della FX2 Light, quindi il danese Stig Larsen, a seguire Jenny Sonzogni che è l'unica donna partecipante a questa gara, e via via il resto del gruppo. Contatto tra Bonanomi e Francesco Azzori al tornantino, e Bonanomi all'interno ha provato l'attacco nei confronti di Azzori, finendo per sferonarlo.
Sì, sembra che le macchine non avevano problemi, quindi forse, visto che non vediamo bandiere gialle né niente, probabilmente sono riusciti a ripartire tutte e due. Adesso il gruppo si è un po' sgranato, c'è un tira e molla abbastanza evidente, soprattutto nelle frenate e poi nelle ripartenze, quindi per ora tutto calmo. Devo dire, per quanto riguarda Cimarelli, ricordo che Cimarelli si è diviso la stessa macchina con Francesco Soffaroli, che ha fatto ieri gara 1, e sta andando bene, anche perché loro hanno una vettura che non è una super formula come i primi 4 che vedete qui, quindi sta seguendo in quinta posizione, seguito da Liotti con una Formula Abarth. Ecco, ricordiamo appunto che Liotti ieri si è portato a casa il campionato assoluto FX2. Vediamo Benjamin Berta che dopo essere passato in prima posizione sta mantenendo un buon ritmo, ma sia Zeller che Papaleo che Dino Rasero comunque seguono la ruota. Per ora sono tutti sgranati in questo momento.
Sì, una fase di gara davvero molto interessante, Piero. Intanto dobbiamo anche sottolineare che nel paddock c'è un'atmosfera particolarmente festosa, perché a pochi metri da noi si sta esibendo una live band, e quindi è davvero difficile riuscire a sentirsi, però cerchiamo di fare del nostro meglio anche per questa gara. È davvero entusiasmante, ancora tutto in gioco per le prime posizioni, con Benjamin Berta che ora ha preso 9 decimi di margine su Zeller, ma attenzione anche a Rasero che non molla perché punta da vicino Renato Papaleo, e poi Minelli è riuscito a portarsi in quinta posizione scavalcando Franco Cimarelli. Avevamo visto in precedenza un tentativo d'attacco da parte proprio di Minelli nei confronti di Cimarelli, che però è andato a segno non inquadrato dalle telecamere. A completare la top 10 troviamo Salvatore Liotti, quindi Enrico Milani, Tapinos e Palommieri in 10ª posizione, mentre dobbiamo sottolineare che Azzori al momento sembra essersi fermato, comunque rientrato in box, perché comunque lo vediamo
probabilmente durante il contatto con Bonanomi c'è stato sicuramente qualche problema, qualche braccetto, effettivamente è riuscito a ritirare il box, ma sembra appunto fermo.
Ancora poco meno di 16 minuti alla conclusione di questa gara 2, con Benjamin Berta che transita nuovamente davanti ai box con un margine di 8 decimi nei confronti di Sandro Zeller, quindi Papaleo e Rasero ancora separati tra loro da soli 8 decimi. Minelli che sta provando a ricucire il gap che lo separa dal gruppetto di testa, essendosi messo alle spalle Franco Cimarelli, quindi Salvatore Liotti che mantiene la 7ª posizione nonché la leadership nella classifica della FX2. Dobbiamo anche spendere due parole naturalmente, Piero, per Salvatore Liotti, che ha tra l'altro festeggiato nel post gara di ieri con il team G Motorsport la conquista del titolo nella FX2. G Motorsport che si conferma al top per quanto riguarda la FX2 dopo aver vinto il titolo lo scorso anno con Federico Albanese, si è confermato anche quest'anno con Salvatore Liotti, che ha letteralmente dominato questa stagione.
Sì, effettivamente Liotti ha dominato il campionato, ma non solo, ma ricordiamo che è al quarto assoluto anche nella generale Top Jet FX 2000, e quindi è molto vicino anche al terzo assoluto, quindi sarà adesso sicuramente, portandosi a casa il campionato FX2, sarà molto più tranquillo per cercare di puntare a qualcosa di più in alto anche nell'assoluta, visto che comunque ci sarà ancora una gara, come appunto hai detto prima, a Misano.
Esattamente, appuntamento tra 2 settimane.
Vediamo i primi
fase
doppiaggi
delicata con Luca Guolo che correttamente si è fatto da parte per consentire ai piloti più veloci di passare. Poi anche Iannacone in questa fase subisce il doppiaggio, così come De Virgilis all'altezza del turbone. Bisogna fare molta attenzione sia per chi subisce il sorpasso sia per coloro che sono al volante di vetture decisamente più prestazionali e dunque devono fare i conti anche con questo ostacolo che a volte può condizionare effettivamente le gare.
Sì, infatti vedi che Zeller ne sta approfittando.
Attenzione, Zeller ne approfitta di questa fase delicata, ancora un duello ruota a ruota con Benjamin Berta, il quale si trova all'interno della staccata della Campagnano con le vetture che vanno a sfiorarsi. Zeller all'esterno e va a riproporre la manovra effettuata proprio dal rivale in precedenza, compiendo un bel sorpasso. Vediamo ora se Benjamin Berta riuscirà ad affondare la staccata, ma Zeller proprio in una fase delicata, lo dicevamo, è riuscito ad approfittarne con molta abilità per riportarsi in testa.
Sì, è stato molto bravo Zeller, perché ne ha approfittato appunto del discorso dei doppiati. E effettivamente Marco, come hai detto tu, quindi ci sono delle prestazioni veramente molto differenti tra i primi e gli ultimi, e infatti se avete visto i primi doppiati sono arrivati dopo non meno di 10 minuti di gara, quindi queste vetture, le Super Formula, vanno veramente molto forte. La nostra categoria, come sai, ci sono
Attenzione Larsen intanto,
sembrava Larsen, sì,
è ripartito.
sì. Ci sono categorie diverse con telai diversi, motorizzazioni diversi, e come ho detto ci sono anche differenze di 15-20 secondi a giro tra i primi e gli ultimi, quindi le fasi di doppiaggio sono sicuramente le fasi più difficili, dove bisogna veramente fare attenzione, e qualcuno ne potrebbe approfittare.
Chiaramente è una situazione che non si è verificata nel corso di gara 1, poiché vi è stata una lunga fase di neutralizzazione con la safety car. Tutto sta filando invece nel migliore dei modi per quanto riguarda questa seconda manche, con i primi doppiaggi che sono già arrivati. Rivediamo infatti, grazie a questo bel replay, il sorpasso portato a termine da Sandro Zeller nei confronti di Benjamin Berta, anche se la mia sensazione è che il pilota ungherese non voglia di certo arrendersi, anche perché i due si giocano anche il successo nel Drexler. Ricordiamo che però Berta partecipa anche al campionato italiano, alla Formula X2000, FX2000 Formula Trophy, e naturalmente questo potrebbe rappresentare un problema in termini di punteggio per quanto riguarda Papaleo e Rasero, che sono chiamati a dover recuperare terreno, come dicevamo in classifica, nei confronti di Bernardo Pellegrini, che sicuramente ci starà seguendo con la rabbia, la delusione per il problema tecnico. Comunque lo vedrà in pista tra 2 settimane nel gran finale a Misano. Doppiaggio nei confronti di Francesco Azzori per Sandro Zeller, con Berta che a questo punto potrebbe anche sfruttare la scia verso il curvone.
Sì, Francesco Azzori è stato molto bravo, si è messo da parte, quindi nessun problema in questo momento. Adesso dovrà essere doppiato anche da Papaleo e da Rasero. E poi anche i doppiati, molto sta anche nella posizione in cui vengono doppiati, perché certo non si possono fermare, quindi si possono mettere diciamo nella loro traiettoria, però possono anche capitare certe situazioni. Però vediamo che il doppiaggio è stato portato a termine anche da Papaleo e Rasero senza problemi. Papaleo e Rasero sono belli messi in lotta, perché divisi effettivamente da pochi decimi. Sì, Marco, come hai detto tu, in questo caso Benjamin Berta sta portando via punti preziosi per quanto riguarda la top 10, quindi secondo me Bernardo Pellegrini sta facendo il tutto in questo momento, sono sicuro, e probabilmente si sentirà anche.
Naturalmente abbiamo visto intanto il problema forse da Steve Larsen, che poi è scivolato in 19ª posizione davanti solo ad Andrea Masci, il portacolori del team Roti Scoperte Motorsport. Poi a seguire troviamo nelle posizioni retrastanti Stocchi, che comunque si trova in terza piazza nella FX2 Light, quindi Stola, Florian, Togo, Robert, Iannacone, Guolo, De Virgilis e appunto Azzori, che al momento accusa un ritardo di 5 giri dalla vetta. Doppiaggio ai danni di Togo, che è rientrato in pit lane, però questo ha consentito comunque a Berta di avvicinarsi ulteriormente nei confronti di Sandro Zeller. Adesso si dovrà andare a doppiare Florian e Stola, fase particolarmente delicata in cui il doppiaggio avviene nel tratto più veloce del circuito.
Ecco, qui effettivamente vedrai che Berta perde sicuramente qualcosa, perché Stola logicamente non è che si poteva diciamo mettersi in una curva così veloce a cambiare traiettoria, e quindi è probabile che qualcosina Benjamin Berta abbia perso, però effettivamente no, vediamo che comunque è riuscito a passarlo lo stesso. Si vede che Stola è stato molto bravo a a mettersi di lato anche nel curvone veloce. In
Attenzione
effetti
questa fase delicata, qui Berta ha guadagnato di nuovo qualcosina e si
in
è
frenata.
riportato a ridosso di Sandro Zeller. Il prossimo doppiaggio da effettuare sarà quello di Riccardo Stocchi, che come ricordiamo si trova al volante di una Formula Abarth del team G Motorsport ed è ancora in lotta per il titolo con Fabio Turchetto, che però al momento è al comando in questa particolare classifica.
Vediamo sempre il distacco tra Papaleo e Rasero, che ricordo che sono in lotta per il campionato, sono divisi ancora da 3 decimi, hanno perso leggermente.
Attenzione, contatto tra Luca Guolo e Giancarlo De Virgilis.